You ever wave at a camera that wasn't there yesterday just because your brain couldn't keep up with the absurdity? That was me standing in my kitchen, hair wild, coffee cold, waving right back at a little blinking red that definitely hadn't existed above my porch the night before. Not a hello, not a warning, just that mindless, awkward half wave you do when you realize you're being watched and you don't know who's watching. I live on the edge of our neighborhood, tucked up against the county line, last house before the woods swallow the Roadno neighbors across. No through traffic, just my patch of peace. Or so I believed, until the illusion cracked with the sunrise, and I counted 3 new black domes, all perched on HOA light poles, all aimed directly at my house like they'd studied blueprints. One lens right on my living room, another catching the backyard fence, a third just high enough to glance across my bedroom window, like whoever installed them wanted plausible deniability, but not too much. No attempt to hide, just cameras, bold as brass, the red light pulsing with that faintly smug, "Yeah, I'm watching you" energy. I stood there a long time, coffee forgotten, just staring up, feeling more exposed by the second. Then my phone buzzed with the HOA group chat. Exciting safety enhancements coming your way. Thanks for your patience during our minor infrastructure upgrades. Smiling face with smiling eyes. See you Thursday at the board meeting. Nothing about cameras. Nothing about privacy. Just that fake, cheerful, passive-aggressive HOA tone that sets your teeth on edge. I paced the property line, counting every angle. See, I know cameras. Old job taught me to spot sight lines and blind spots, to read intent. These weren't keep an eye on the playground cameras. They were deliberate, measured. Whoever planned this wasn't worried about community safety, they were worried about me. And when the anger finally caught up with the disbelief, it hit hard. I went inside, yanked every blind shut, even though I'm the kind who craves sunlight by mid-morning. The house shrank around me, quiet and tense, holding its breath. I pulled up the HOA bylaws, that same PDF I'd skimmed a dozen times in previous spats. Landscaping, parking, fences, not a single line about surveillance, cameras recording, anything. My phone buzzed again. Private message from Lindo HOA board president. Signature longer than her emails. Hope you noticed the new safety improvements. Let us know if you have any concerns. I barked a laugh, sharp and hollow. I typed a reply, deleted it. Typed again, deleted that too. Eventually settled for something short, neutral, so she couldn't read my hand. Can you clarify why HOA cameras are facing directly into my home and yard? She shot back fast. They're positioned to monitor community-owned infrastructure. If your home appears in the background, that's incidental. Incidental, like I was an afterthought in my own space. I started pacing. The real damage wasn't the footage. It was that my own house, my sanctuary, suddenly felt like a stage. I threw on my jacket and started documenting photos of every angle, close-ups of serial numbers, everything. Neighbor across the street pretended not to watch while watering his lawn. I asked, "You see the cameras?" He nodded, barely. They said it was for package theft. I glanced at the empty road behind Uzia. Packages stolen by raccoons. Maybe. But that's the neighborhood here. Don't ask questions. Don't rock the boat. Don't be that resident. I'd been that resident since I moved in and challenged their little fiefdom over a fence color, and they'd never forgiven me. By noon, I had screenshots, emails drafted, timestamps logged. Called the management company, got dumped to voicemail after 3 transfers. Left a polite but warning message. By afternoon, the house felt claustrophobic. I cracked open a blind for some light and the red dot on the camera pulsed, like it was winking at me. That's when it landed. These weren't passive cameras. They were being monitored, right now, by someone who cared where I was standing. Linda messaged again. "We can discuss your concerns at the board meeting. Please refrain from interfering with HOA property." Interfering? I hadn't even touched a thing. Just asking questions was apparently now a threat. That night, I lay awake, heart thumping, feeling like the walls were closing in. Morning light didn't help. House didn't feel safe, just exposed. I went about my routine shower, breakfast, refusing to let them dictate how I moved, but caught myself angling away from the windows, pure animal instinct. I took a slow video for evidence, narrated time and position. Sent the whole package to the city code compliance office. Surveillance on public poles, pointed at private homes? That's a gray area, said the woman on the phone. She asked for photos and a formal complaint. I did both. Then called a privacy attorney I'd met years before, left a message with words like continuous residential surveillance without consent. Lawyers call back quicker when you use the right words. The next day, I noticed one of the cameras had shifted a few degrees, but enough that its focus was now square on my front door, not the living room. That was the chill moment. It meant someone was watching, actively adjusting, responding to me in real time. This wasn't about crime prevention. This was about sending a message. We can see you, and we want you to know it. HOA management finally responded. Legalese wrapped around a simple message. Cameras installed under HOA authority. Any incidental capture of private property was unintentional. Tampering will result in fines. Still hadn't denied the recording. I forwarded that to the city, added it to my folder, and waited. Sometimes you just let people hang themselves. Just before sunset, 2 board members walked up my driveway. No, Linda, she preferred the safety of group chats and Zoom calls. We want to clear the air, one said, hands folded, fake smile. There's been some misunderstanding. I pointed at the nearest camera. There's been some filming. He chuckled. No one's watching you specifically. Then adjust the cameras. That's not necessary. Then remove them. Silence. I could see Linda's hand in every evasion. Finally, one of them slipped. Linda thinks you're difficult. She believes transparency discourages bad behavior. So, the cameras were punitive. He realized too late he'd said too much. That night, my attorney called. Do you know where the footage is stored? I didn't. That's a problem, he said. If they're saving video of your private spaces, this just got a whole lot bigger. Near dawn, an HOA system alert popped up in the chat, then was deleted. Camera calibration in progress. They were doubling down, not backing off. By day 3, the cameras felt less like objects and more like a presence, constant like pressure behind her eyes. I opened all the blinds not because I felt brave, but because I refused to live like a fugitive. Sunlight poured in, unfiltered, just for a moment almost normal. Then I'd catch the red reflection in the glass and remember why my jaw was tight. Linda called. Not a text and actual phone call. You're making serious accusations. That has consequences. So does filming people in their homes. No one is filming you. You adjusted the cameras at midnight. They're calibrated. Then put that in writing. Silence. We'll discuss this at the board meeting. I won't be there. I've already escalated. She hung up. By mid-morning, a city inspector showed up. Walked the line with me, took photos, asked all the right questions. Who installed? What did they see? Had I been notified? These aren't typical placements, he muttered. No, they're not. He didn't promise anything, but he took more photos than he arrived with. That's progress. Linda fired off a mass email. All legal padding and false reports undermined community trust. She didn't have to name me, everyone knew. The twist came quietly. A neighbor messaged me privately. Linda asked if your back windows faced the pool. Seemed weird. The pool was nowhere near me. She was shopping for retroactive justification, mapping her narrative. He said she'd asked others too. Said she needed context. I sent it to my attorney. Do not engage further. Let them keep talking. So I went silent. Let the HOA narrative tangle itself. Then mistake. My cloud storage pinged. A shared folder had been added, then removed, but not before I copied the contents. One video file. My backyard, clear as day, no ambiguity. My patio, my grill, my bedroom door, recorded in daylight. They weren't just watching, they were storing. They just handed me proof. My attorney, stop reacting. Let them hang themselves. Less than an hour later, 3 HOA trucks pulled up Linda herself, looking like a woman about to collect a trophy, not about to walk into a disaster. We're here to inspect the perimeter. There have been complaints, obstructions. You mean illegal cameras? That's your opinion. No, that's your footage. Their confidence cracked. We'll have our attorney contact you. He already has. They left, urgency in every step. That afternoon, temporary suspension of camera monitoring pending review. Not removal, not apology, just suspension. Neighbors buzzed some angry at me, most at the sudden realization that if it happened to me, it could happen to them. One asked, did they record audio? Sent chills down my spine. Attorney, if so, that's criminal. That night, the red light on the nearest camera winked off damage control, not compliance. Too late. Certified letter arrived. Demand for return or destruction of proprietary footage. I laughed, then responded Laura approved. Cold as ice. Footage is preserved for legal review. Do not contact me directly again. More city inspectors. Notes. Photos. Phrases like expectation of privacy. Improper placement. The HOA website went offline. The balance had tipped. Residents started closing their blinds early. The camera stayed but looked nervous, twitching, uncertain, like nobody could decide what they were allowed to see anymore. Emergency board meeting, closed session, no Lindash resigned, personal reasons. The city referred everything to the state privacy office. Subpoenas, investigations. Suddenly, neighbors weren't whispering, they were asking questions out loud. Did they really record inside your house? How long? Why didn't anyone stop it? The pressure moved from me to the board, and trust snapped. Media caught wind, suburban abuse of power, HOA overreach, it was all there. I gave one written statement. Just facts, dates, actions. Let it spread. Late that week, the cameras finally came down. Contractor with a ladder, no ceremony, no apologies, just unscrewed, packed up, gone. The light poles looked bare and harmless again, like they'd never been anything else. I left the blinds open, let the sun pour in, drank coffee slow, right where I'd waved at that red light. The settlement paperwork arrived cold, thorough, admissions without apology, oversight, fines. Linda disappeared from the neighborhood grapevine. The new board started with an apology not for me, but for all of us. People clapped. I just nodded. Life didn't snap back. It settled, slow and easy. A neighbor stopped by. Thanks for standing your ground. I just wanted my house back. He smiled. Sometimes that's the point. I slept with the windows open. No dreams, no red dots, just quiet. The thing about power is it relies on silence, on people deciding it's not worth the trouble to push back. The HOA had counted on that. They were wrong. Privacy isn't negotiable. Once you know what it's worth, you never forget. Weeks later, I catch my reflection in the glass at night. Lights on, blinds open, nobody watching, nobody recording, no performance. That's the real ending, not the fines, not the oversight, not the apologies. It's the simple freedom of being alone in your own home again, knowing no one will ever make that mistake with you twice. So here's my question for you. Where do you draw the line? When does safety become control? And when does compliance become complicity? Have you ever stood up, even when no one else would? Como pido? Tell me where you stand. Or share your own story, because sometimes the only way the watching stops is when someone finally says, enough.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.